I know I'm supposed to tease this episode, but I don't even want to tease you. I need to be straight with you. The best marketing strategy for personal brands is based on relationships. Because marketing for personal brands is so different than marketing for regular commercial brands. And we have such an advantage as personal brands because we are actual people. Like, while the big brands are trying to feel more personable, we are already people and we are not taking advantage of that and building the relationships we should be building or that we could be building. So today, I'm giving you my simple plan to quote unquote get found. And when I say get found, I mean three things. First, having more qualified messages, like the type of messages you want to have, more referrals or invites, whether it's podcasts, panels, speaking on memberships, and more peers mentioning you by name, which is exciting. That's referrals. So give me 3 months, please, after listening to this episode, and you are going to get those numbers moving. Do you want to be seen as the go-to in your industry, get more sales, easily attract new opportunities, but feel overlooked online? If so, you are in the right place. Hey, I'm Eugenia, but you can call me E. I'm a marketing strategist, a wife, and a new mom. I learned the secret of how to be seen as an authority and have people think of you for new opportunities and more clients. If you're ready to get clear on what makes your personal brand unique, build a magnetic presence online, and get more eyes on your business, this is your next move. Quick story before the episode. Airplanes have always been kind of magical to me. And it was on an airplane a few years ago when I realized or had this epiphany on the power of having such a clear brand and having a clarity on where you could take that brand and having that potential and helping you reach your dreams. And I know the height and the clouds and the fuzzy socks, like it can all help you on an airplane to see those possibilities. So a couple of years ago, I was on this particular flight on my way back to Miami after having spent 2 days with my client. I was auditing her brand, the way she was being positioned, coming up with a plan to help her launch her into the next season of your business. So she had been this operations expert, fractional COO for huge businesses for years. And she felt like that didn't represent her anymore because she was ready to take on, I guess, bigger opportunities. She wanted to be more of a mentor, be involved in more areas of the business and really work on that advisory capacity versus just being on the day-to-day doing the work, right? And she was having a hard time being seen by that next high level of her business and her brand. She was still being referred to as the person who can operate a business. So as we were having that conversation, I was like, you know what? Let's work on that together for a whole day. I flew to her. And we talked about the whole business, turned it inside out like a sock, and realized that she wanted to be that mentor, right? So we shifted her positioning, really created the outline for this incredible offer that was so aligned to what she wanted to do. And at the end, we were like, wow, you are really this mentor for CEOs who are needing, yes, operations, but also leadership, financial management, how to run simple marketing systems and like managing teams. So her best clients were saying, I need to learn how to be a CEO. That's what she was doing already. So what we did was just create a positioning that matched her reality, her new reality. And that was so excited because that clarity transformed her business. Like from there, she redid her offer completely, her branding, her website, and she's now getting ready to launch her book, which is so exciting because she's had this book in her heart for years. And the reason I go back to that airplane is because I feel like airplanes remind us of what's possible. That great positioning doesn't come from something we create, quote unquote, out of thin air, but really it comes from who we are, from our vision, from our reality, from our experiencing, and from something you are already doing in your business. And if this is you, and if you're thinking, I know I am ready for more, I'm ready for more visibility, I'm ready for more clients or for different clients, different opportunities, I want to be seen as the authority and not just another expert, I just don't know where to start. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. If this is you, then my brand positioning audit is going to be perfect for you, because in 60 minutes, we're going to pinpoint the 3 biggest gaps in your personal brand presence. Those gaps are keeping you overlooked, and you are going to leave with a personalized plan. And I'm talking detailed action plan with examples to start closing those gaps. After you uncover those gaps and after you have your plan, you are going to start attracting leadership, visibility opportunities, and of course, more sales. So maybe this is the notch that you've been needing to start building those bridges to book, if you wish, this one-way ticket to visibility. And I would love to walk with you in that journey. So book your call now at eugeniawu.com/brand. I cannot wait to see where your brand can land. So years ago, I had the privilege of sitting in the planning process of this huge luxury conglomerate of brands. So it's a luxury brand. They own many brands in Paris and I guess the world, and it's brands that you would recognize, and I cannot mention them for confidentiality reasons. But I was sitting in their strategy session, the planning session for each of their brands. And I was part of a media company at that point, and we were presenting them with a very strategic, numbers-driven strategy or approach. And they said, we really like it, but we don't want to lose the art of it. We want to have the right blend between science and art, because art is the thing that opens up the heart of people. So I found it so fascinating that there you had it. There was this huge luxury brand with access to all the numbers, all the metrics, all the scientific strategy, I guess. But at the end of the day, they wanted to be more human. They didn't want to lose the art of their DNA. And that really hit me, because at that point, I was already building my business. I was already working with personal brands, and I was seeing them just going, they already had the art and the heart, but they were trying to get away from that, trying to sound like robots at that time, buying templates, and today just relying on ChatGPT. And I love ChatGPT, but sometimes you cannot delegate your brand to ChatGPT, because why are you losing the art and the heart of your brand? And that's exactly why you're not getting found, you're not getting visibility, you are getting overlooked, because you have lost probably that personality, that relationship that makes us human. So it's such a unique quality to us. So let's reframe today how you see your marketing strategy, especially as a creative with a personal brand, which is a very interesting point. So how is this concept of relationship marketing different than your regular marketing? And sure, we need a best client. We do need to have all those traditional or mainstream marketing aspects. We need to have them defined. We need a best client, we need an offer, we need our channels. Yes, we need all those things. And sure, when we speak, we do it for an ideal audience. But when we build community, we are not only thinking about the person who buys. And I think that's the biggest difference. Don't clutch your pearls. Don't tell me, I'm only on social media because I need to sell. I run a business, not a hobby. And I get it 100%. You're not there to just get likes and vanity metrics, whatever that means. I mean, it's just metrics. It's not vanity metrics, but whatever. I don't want to go on that tangent. I completely understand. But you're really missing a huge opportunity if you're only looking at your community as people who buy from you. Because your community has 3 important avatars, or let's say types of people, and not all of them purchase from you, but all of them can make you money at some point. How is this possible? They can bring you referrals. They can bring you business ideas. They can bring you public speaking opportunities. Those are things that do bring you money. Literally, I got my first client when I was a podcast manager through our relationship. This person, the person who referred me, she had seen my content. She didn't follow me. She just had seen my content. And I guess my content kept being recommended to her. And when someone asked her for a podcast manager, she recommended me. And she had never worked with me, but she just saw my content. And I did follow her. I did comment on her stuff. I think that's how she saw my profile. So she referred me to this client, and this client was so profitable for my business. And we worked together for years. on so many projects, and everything came from a referral from someone who didn't even follow me, just saw me online. So if I had this perspective of, oh, I'm only creating for the person who buys from me, I would have lost on this referral. So how do you start changing your approach? When you think about your community and the types of followers and relationships you want to nurture in your marketing strategy, you're going to see 3 people. And I want you to identify them and I want you to pay attention to them. One is your buyer, of course, the person that's your best client, the person that's going to follow you because eventually they're going to buy from you. That's super clear. We all want those people and we are, in a way, creating for those people. We also have the person that feels inspired by you. This is not a person that's looking to buy from you. Let's say in my case, maybe the person that follows me because they feel inspired. They don't follow me because they want to get more visible or improve their reputation online. Maybe they like my story. I have a lot of people in my community that are people from Venezuela or Hispanic countries, and they feel inspired because they see someone that's, Spanish is my first language. Now I am creating in English, have a community in English. My clients are in English, and they feel inspired by that story and they feel motivated by it. They are not following me because they want to buy from me. Maybe at some point they will, but that's not the main reason they follow me. And then you also have your peers. And this is so fun because they can really bring so many opportunities. This is the people you can collaborate with, people who also hear you and understand you and who can get you ideas. Specifically, if you have an offer, let's say the offer is not converting, you can have, let's say you have a done for you VIP day and the VIP day is not converting the way it used to. Maybe you can just have a coffee with a friend and be like, hey, let me tell you about this. Like, my VIP day is not working the way it used to. Like, have you seen the same? And they might tell you, oh my gosh, yes, I'm doing a group offer and that's doing better. Like, you can have a new idea for a new container. So these 3 avatars are so key in your community that if you're only focusing on the buyer, you're going to miss out on so much of what the other 2 groups of people can offer. And of course, there can be an overlap, but they all enter your ecosystem. Now, again, I'm not saying that you need to forget about your ideal client. Of course, that needs to be clear. You need to be clear in your message. The person that you are speaking to is part of that clarity. But trust me, you will bring a larger community who shares your values and is inspired by you and is challenged by you when you start opening your eyes and start applying this relationship first approach. So don't ignore them because you never know where your next client could be coming from. So how do you build this awareness that gets you found by your community as you build those relationships now that you're super excited to really pay attention to your community and everyone in it? Here's where you can focus on what I call the 3 C's. Because this won't happen automatically. You need to be intentional about it, right? It's not like, oh yeah, I like relationships, that's it. No, there's a little method to the madness. You need to put your energy and your focus behind it. So the 3 C's are, number 1, clarity. That removes confusion. Get clear on your message. Like, go to episode 57 and there I coach a client on how to clarify her audience. And I do have another episode on message clarity. That's episode 51. And that's 5 prompts to clarify your niche as a personal brand or creative entrepreneur. Bottom line, get clear on who is your audience, what's the problem that you solve, and what solution you provide. Number 2, second C, is consistency. And that's saying things consistently so people know, oh, right, she's the, blank, fill in the blank girl. In my case, for example, with that first client, I was in the podcast management industry. The person who referred me knew as the podcast girl. So when I talk about consistency, I'm not just saying posting 3 times a week. Sure, that's part of it, but that's the beginning of consistency. I'm talking about consistency in the topics you're talking about, in who you are and how you're showing up, your voice, your mannerisms, like getting people to expect to hear from you in a specific way. Don't abuse ChatGPT, please. And I have to tell myself that because I love me some ChatGPT. It saves me so much time. And I do use it. But it all starts from my voice. It all starts from this podcast. little pro tip, I feed ChatGPT the transcript of this podcast, and that helps it learn my voice like little by little. And, at this point, it's pretty good. All the suggestions it gives me based on so many, I've been doing this podcast for 2 years. So I have said so many things. So I love ChatGPT for that reason, but do not abuse it. Don't just go like, oh, ChatGPT, give me 5 episode ideas for this topic and then give me the outline and that's it. No, use your voice. And don't talk about all the things at the same time. Like, that's not consistent, right? If you're talking about 1,000 different topics, that's confusing. That's not paying attention to number one, and is not being consistent because you're changing from topic to topic. And then the third C is collaboration. And this is building those relationships in an intentional way. And this is, if you had to build a new friendship, nurture a friendship as an adult, what would you do? Translate it to the digital world. It's not, don't make you weird. Don't make you weird. The other day, I was talking to him about how Threads has been incredible for me. And he was like, oh, what's your strategy? And I was like, honestly, whatever I feel like I could text a friend about, that's what I post. I don't post check out my new podcast, because I would never text a friend with it. I'd be like, if I want to promote my podcast, I'd be like, I learned these incredible things, if you want to read the whole things in my podcast. But I would give my friend something. Well, if my friend was in my industry. But what I'm saying is, be intentional about how you're building those relationships. That could look like choosing a group online, like an online community, and being the most helpful person in that community, posting consistently, answering questions. And I know you've probably heard this advice in the context of, oh, do these things so that way you're going to get clients. No. We are going to build relationships. That's it. That's the expectation, for real. If you can get a connection and people that you talk to and they know your name and you know theirs, that is the goal. You can also send something helpful to someone. I love doing that because when I, connect with someone and, we start talking, then I watch a video and I'm like, oh my gosh, this reminded me so much of you. And I send them the video through DM. That's it. They don't have to watch it, but I was thinking of them. Also, of course, content collabs, making a reel together, podcast swap, interviewing them on, you could make a YouTube video with half of the tips go on one channel, half of the tips on another channel. That's a literal collaboration, super helpful. Support with our launch, that's amazing. That's something that's really helpful if someone is having a launch, if they're launching either a product, a paid product, or if they're launching something a book. Something that needs more reach. If you can amplify their efforts, that is so helpful. If you can join their programs, if financially that makes sense to you, if maybe they have a lower ticket offer, obviously, depending on your situation and your possibilities, but investing in those relationships, that's going to come back to you tenfold. So try this plan for 3 months. Remember, clarity, consistency, and collaboration, that needs to be your focus for the next 3 months. You are going to see results. And I know the consistency piece can be hard, but you can do hard things. You can do hard things. Come on. Don't reinvent the wheel. Don't change your message every month. Gosh, don't be like me because I'm a recovering wheel reinventor. I need to be stopped. And I've developed so much restraint and discipline when it comes to my content. I'm super proud of myself. So, and I have seen a transformation in my business also, without having, virality and 100,000,000 followers. I have under 3,000 followers and they are incredible. My podcast is growing and it's because of that consistency. Don't confuse people, okay? And track your collaboration. That's super important. Really, if you're going to post 3 times a week on a group, do it. Track it. Twice a week, whatever you can do. I'm a new mom. I understand we don't have a lot of time sometimes. But find a thing you can proactively do and do it. And you're going to see, in 3 months, you're going to start seeing your content getting more eyeballs. It's just nature and it's so much fun. I love it when it happens. And when it does, please come to my Instagram at eugenia.wu and send me a DM and tell me like, hey, I followed your 3Cs for 3 months and these were my results. I'm impressed. I'm going to celebrate you so much. I am, as always, excited for you, rooting for you, and I can't wait to see you next time. I hope you loved today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds and send it to someone who's ready to be seen as the go-to in their industry? Also, please leave a quick review for the show on Apple Podcasts. I love reading your comments. They remind me of those little notes you would send your friends in high school, you know? Okay, see you back here soon with the next episode. Un beso.